Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the Recess Life podcast. I am your host, Louise, and I am so excited that you decided to join me. You might be a friend, a coworker, a Facebook friend, someone that I know personally, but whoever you are, thank you so much for joining me today. I couldn't tell you how grateful I am that you decided to spend some time with me today. So I am so excited because, like I just mentioned, this is the first episode, and I am here to share a little bit about the podcast, why I'm doing this, and a little bit about what you can expect, because I hope that this won't be the only time that you'll be joining me. The Recess Life podcast. What is it about? So, the podcast is about play and creativity and why it's important no matter what age we are and no matter what stage of life we are in. I will be interviewing people who have cultivated this in their life and in their careers, in their lifestyle, and in a way that's impactful. And hopefully we can all learn something from them. And I decided to do this because I realized a few years ago that I had lost my spirit for play. When I was growing up, play was such a natural part of my life. I would make up dances with my friends. I would run around and sing at the top of my lungs and play games with my friends every weekend, and this was something that was just such a natural part of my life. And I think as I got older, this started to fall away a little bit, and some of it could be that I had less time because adult responsibilities came into play, and also because I was told play needs to stop at a certain time in your life and you need to grow up and be mature and do all those things that adults are supposed to do. I also grew up in a family that really valued education and doing the practical, realistic thing with our lives. Things like play and creativity were looked down upon a little bit as things that you do when you're a kid, and eventually you grow out of it and become an adult and do the practical thing. And it wasn't coming from a bad or wrong place by any means. My parents are immigrants from another country, so living here in the United States had a whole set of challenges for them, and they didn't want my sister and I to experience that. They wanted us to have a stable, easy life, and that meant being an adult and doing the practical thing, doing the thing that's safe. But I also realized that I had this burning desire to play and be expressive and creative, and that wasn't ever going to go away no matter how hard I tried, no matter how much I stifled it. So I decided I wasn't going to do that anymore and started doing things like taking dance classes and playing ukulele and doing whatever I could to create a community of people that also valued play and were interested and invested in cultivating that in themselves. People that started also taking dance classes as adults, and people that really decided they wanted to prioritize play later in their life as well, and their own journeys with that. I realized the more and more I talked to people, this was something that was challenging for all of us. Play is something that is very challenging for us to cultivate in our lives for a number of reasons, like I just talked about. We have responsibilities and so many obligations we have to maintain in our lives, and play sometimes just falls to the bottom of the list. But I know for me that when I started to really prioritize play, everything else in my life became richer and I became more productive and everything was just more fun no matter what it was I was doing. So I feel so passionately that there is something to the idea that we need to cultivate play in our life no matter what, and that we need to prioritize it. In fact, Dr. Stuart Brown, who is a doctor, a psychiatrist, a clinical researcher, and the founder of the National Institute of Play, states in this book, very appropriately called Play, "Play is fun. but it is anything but trivial. It is a basic biological drive as integral to our health as sleep or nutrition. When we play, we are open to possibility and the sparks of new insights. Play, defined as any kind of purposeless, all-consuming restorative activity, is the single most significant factor in determining our success and happiness. Wow. So that was written by a doctor. And if he's saying that play is as important to our health as sleep and nutrition, that's kind of a big deal. And it's something we should all be talking about a lot more and something we should be regularly doing, right? So that is the conversation I want to have. Why are we not playing? And what are the challenges that keep us from cultivating that in our lives more? And also, what is play? So he says that play is any kind of purposeless, all-consuming restorative activity. But that could mean a number of things, and it looks different for everyone. So let's explore this topic as a whole. What is play? What does it look like? And what does it mean for you and me? So a big part of this podcast will be me interviewing people that have, in my mind, successfully found ways to make play and creativity a big part of their life. And they're not just playing for the hell of it or putzing around every day. They're making impact and change in the world. So they're not just hula hooping in the park all day, but they're actually creating something of substance in this world. And I also started to talk to other people who has not only made creativity and play a part of their life, but it's now become a huge part of the work that they do and the impact that they make in this world. And they'll tell you that play was a big part of why they are doing the work that they're doing. So you're going to hear from someone who uses hip hop and rap music to teach his students science and what that has meant for the way they've learned and how they look at science now. You're going to hear from someone who takes improv-based workshops into companies and teaches them connection, collaboration, and communication, and why improv in particular is such a positive tool for that. You're going to meet a relationship coach who uses a framework with play principles to teach communication to people to talk to their spouses or partners around their desires and boundaries, and why play in particular is such a powerful tool for doing this. So that's just a little tip of the iceberg of the people I will be talking to. And I am so excited to share with you their stories, their insights, and inspiration for how they've lived their life and how maybe you can take from what they've learned and how you can apply it to yourself. You may not have their exact story, but perhaps lessons they've learned or things they've gone through can help you become more playful and use that to make more impact in this world. I hope that I may be hearing from you why play may or may not be challenging for you. What does play look like for you? What's your own journey with it from the time that you were little till now when you are an adult? Did you have a discouragement around trying creative, playful, expressive things when you were a child? And how did that play out in your adult life? And now, how does that look like for you? And because I know that creativity and play has had such a big impact on my life, I want to change the conversation that we're having about these things. What if we talked about play and creativity as something that is productive and just as important as education and all the things we talk about as being important in this world? What if being playful and finding time to do things like dance and music and art and playing board games is just as important to our well-being and our health as studying and working hard and having a to-do list? So That's the conversation I want to have, and I invite you to join me. Maybe you have your own journey with creativity and play that will contribute to this conversation. And I would love to hear from you as we dive into these interviews with these special guests. What are you learning? What insights are you gathering about yourself? I hope that I'll be connecting with you soon and that we will be able to share in this journey together. I look forward to connecting with you in future episodes.